Do a little shop update here. Last week I had done the tractor series and alluded to having to go down to Long Island and had an auction also this week. Um, what happened is I went to the preview of the auction on Monday, about 100 miles away from here, and it wasn't a great, it wasn't a big auction. It was a duct fabricator that went out of business. Not a mechanical contractor, but just a fabricator of sheet metal ductworking stuff. So they did have some stuff that I kind of was interested in, but it wasn't a real big auction. But anyways, on the way back, what happened is my truck. I had some issues with my truck, and I kind of knew what it was, but I was able to get back to the shop. I lost power in it, and I knew it wasn't an injector or the turbo or anything. Uh, and I had kind of knew what it was, but I brought it back to the shop, changed the fuel filter in it, and the air filter in it, and took it out for a test drive. It didn't have any luck. It still was doing the same thing. So anyways, make a long story short, I was supposed to go to Long Island on Thursday to pick that trailer up. This was Monday afternoon. I took it down to a friend because I kind of knew what it was. It had thrown a code, an engine code, and I took it down to a guy, diesel mechanic, and he threw his tester on it, and it was what I suspected it was. It was a fuel pump in the tank. Now, I had plans on changing that fuel pump at some point in time when it went to like a external fuel pump, like an Air Dog or a Foss, if you're familiar with them. But anyways, again, I had to go Thursday, so I asked him. He had Voss pumps in stock, 150 gallon an hour pump. So I had him do the work. So they kind of took care of Monday, Tuesday. The truck was tied up with him doing it. Wednesday, I come back in preparation for going on Thursday. Went out to get fuel in the afternoon, only to find out the thing got kind of canceled. But I'll bring you back to that. It's just a kind of a shop update. I am going to be putting a video out on the tractor. I did get the specs that that guy sent me for the TA. All that, they're not exactly what I thought they were going to be, but I'll go into that in greater detail later. But here we go. I might kind of repeat myself in the first part of this, but here we go. Wanted to give you a little bit of a shop update here. I've got some material in here that I've got to start on another project, and I had left off from last week working on the tractor, saying that I probably wouldn't be able to get a video out this week because I had to go down and pick up a trailer in Long Island, and that kind of fell through. Well, it fell through for this week because actually, up until yesterday, I was scheduled to do it, and had been talking to the guy to make sure the trailer was roadworthy, that I could pull it back. And then after I went out and got fuel yesterday for the trip that was supposed to happen this morning, I get a text from the guy saying that he thinks it's off because the guy's got two trucks that are broken down and he needs to take the trailer and use the trailer. So it did get put off. So I'm back in the shop, and what I've got to do is I've got some stuff in here, and let me show it to you. I've got all of this rebar and angle iron. Now, I didn't buy this, the landlord bought it, and what I'm going to be doing is out of that angle iron and rebar, making these grates. They're not going to be like the grates that are there because they were made out of flat stock and angle iron, but what we're going to make them out of is rebar and angle iron. He's got a space that the tenant is moving out and somebody else is moving in, and he needs to replace the grates in them. And he's also going to replace some of the grates that are where the boards are here in here in my shop. So the tractor issue came up, and I got what he calls the instructions from the TA installation, and I guess it's not really what I expected. I expected more detailed installation. The other thing it never talks about is that little pin. So I'm kind of going through the manual for the tractor and see if I can figure out what's going on. But I'm going to start putting that back together again. I've got the stuff all together, and I'm going to just kind of wing it and try and use those instructions in the manual to figure out how that TA goes back in there, and how you set the end play and stuff. But and the biggest issue is what the hell that little pin is for. But I'm not really sure where that thing goes, and it doesn't say in those things that were given to me. I've got the master cylinder, brake master cylinder off of the tractor. Took the brake pedals off to just clean it up, but I'll show that in a video on the tractor. Hopefully I can get a video published this week on the tractor. So I just kind of wanted to give you a little update on that. I've still got the shelves, Little League shelves that I built. The guy was supposed to pick them up, and he hasn't picked them up yet. But they were sitting here waiting for him. So I'll get a video out on the tractor hopefully tomorrow. So it probably is not going to be a detailed video or putting the transmission back together, but I'll get a video out on it. I'll bring it back.